starting a new project today. We are going to epoxy the garage floors, and this is something that we planned to do last fall, but then it got too cold, and then it was too cold for too long, but we're finally getting started. So now we have to clear everything out, and then we can go. Looking back now, I cannot believe this was the state of the garage, but it really was. We cleaned it out, got rid of all the toolboxes, and then gave it a good blow to get rid of all the dust and nastiness that has just accumulated over the last couple years. And while we were doing this, we actually realized we didn't wash out the garage when we bought the house, which is very unusual for us, but I guess we were just super anxious to get in. So once we did that, we did scraping and washing and more scraping and more washing. And then we needed to fill in all of these holes. So we used a cement compound that is for filling cracks. I'm not going to link it here because I don't think that it was the best one to use for this application. I would have rather used the ones that it's a 2-part filler that comes in a caulking tube and it mixes as you are applying it. But we live in a small town and this was what was accessible to us when we finally decided to get this garage going. So we went ahead with it. And in hindsight, we should have just taken the hour-long drive to go to a bigger city and pick up exactly what we needed. But once it was done, everything was drying and I couldn't do anything else until it was dry. So I decided, why not add one more task to the project list and spray paint these pillars that are such an eyesore? But try telling me that they don't look better black than they did white and all rusted. So I think it was a very valuable use of my time. Once everything was dry, then we were able to wash it out and it was time to get on to the ArmorPoxy. This system is great. Everything that you need comes on a pallet. I'm talking the mixes, the bucket, the liners for the bucket, the rollers, the 18-inch roller holders, the etching, everything on one pallet. First up is the concrete etching or acid etching, which just roughs up the concrete surface so that the epoxy has something good that it can grab onto.
That was 4, right? We have 2 of these for the whole garage, and I just used half for this one mixture, so we can do mix this 4 times before we run out, which I think will be fine. Sometimes we share, sometimes we share.
The garage floor needs to be wet to apply the etching, but not with puddles. And although it looks like there's puddles in this video, there aren't. Once it's all wet, then you can just put the etching on top by just pouring it in place, letting it foam up, and then going in with like a stiff broom to really scrub the floor and make sure that it gets in there and every little nook and cranny gets etched. Our house was built in 1980 or 1981, and I'm not sure if they used any levels because no surface is level, including the garage, which slopes back into the house, which was not ideal while we were doing this project, but we managed, especially because John is much more of a wizard with the broom than I happen to be. So he got all of the water out and I stood on the driveway and hosed it down as it came out so that the acid etching wouldn't damage the asphalt on the driveway at all. Once that was done, again, another good rinse, and then it was time to move on to the epoxy. And when I say move on, I actually mean wait a day and then move on because the garage floor needs to be dry to apply the epoxy. This system is beautiful. It's all color coded, so you're not mistakenly adding 2 different types of mix together that don't belong together. And then it just goes on with a roller. One of us rolled, one of us did the paintbrush, and we made sure to keep a wet edge the whole time that we were doing it because you really don't want it drying and then going back and trying to put some wet stuff back on top of it. That's just not going to fly. Once it was done, we waited 6 hours and then we were able to go back in and do the top coat on the very same day. The top coat again was super easy to do. Just follow the instructions on using the red cans, and that includes the optional non-skid additive. This ArmorPoxy is commercial grade, so it can be used in things like airplane hangers. But we chose this one for our garage because we have kids, and if it's good enough for an airport hanger, it's good enough for me and my children. But in all seriousness, I love this product because it does come in a low VOC option, which is what I chose. And the instructions are just so straightforward. It's totally foolproof. You're not guessing at all. And that's something that is absolutely great when it's such a permanent application. This video was sponsored by ArmorPoxy. Their website is linked in my description. You need to check them out. They have so many options available. I used the job on a pallet, but they also have the flaked epoxy available and so many other things. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get notified when I post the next video about how we organize our workshop using mostly scraps so that it functions so much better and makes projects so much easier.